We begin in 1998 with the Walker family. Vince, his wife Michelle, their 6-year-old daughter Zoe, and Vince's father, Jim, who are all relocating to St. Louis, Missouri, USA. On their way through the town of Two Rock, Arizona, they're involved in a car accident with the Holt brothers, Tyler, Dale, and Jay, leaving their vehicle immobilized. Unable to proceed, the family rents a room at a nearby motel called the Desert Dream. The Holts arrive at the house of the town's sheriff, Dante Romero, intending to steal a large amount of cash from his safe. While looking for the safe, the youngest Holt, Jay, finds and takes a book about birds, as he has an interest in nature, choosing to spend most of his free time in the wilderness. After Jay and Dale find and empty the safe of its money, Dante suddenly returns home unexpectedly, and the Holts flee, but Dante sees their truck driving away and assigns his entire police force to locating it. The Holts arrive at the motel, where they stop to hide from the police, taking the Walkers, the motel owner, Joyce, and the motel's handyman, Paul, hostage, intending to stay there until dusk. Joyce manages to call 911, alerting the police to the Holts' location, and they surround the motel, preventing the Holts' escape. Vince has flashbacks revealing that his marriage to Michelle is struggling, and that they're moving from Sacramento, California, seeking to make a new start, after Vince was fired from his job as an aircraft engineer when he was erroneously blamed for a plane's mechanical failing which led to some deaths. Despite having warned the airline's owners of the plane's faulty condition, Vince is under pressure to take a settlement, preventing him from publicly disclosing the details of the event, in exchange for a payoff. Michelle was having an affair with a colleague who worked with her at the local university, and Jim, long absent from Vince's life, reunited with him after being diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. Jay also has flashbacks, revealing that the Holts are a dysfunctional family, kept in poverty by the gambling addict father, Bear. The brothers rob the sheriff to pay off Bear's debts and remove the threat to their lives from his debtors. Jay finds Bear hanging himself, intending for the family to obtain the payout from his life insurance policy after his death, but cuts him down, saving his life, and he's taken to the hospital to recover. Back at the motel, the Holt's mother, Sharon, talks her way past the police and inside by telling Dante that she'll convince her sons to surrender, but instead plots with them to escape. Dante makes contact with Vince and encourages him to locate a small black book unwittingly stolen by the brothers. Discussing it with the Holts, the group eventually realizes that it was hidden inside of the bird book Jay took. The Black Book details Dante's corrupt dealings, including bribes and money tied to organized crime, all held in a single offshore account. Dante is adamant that the money belongs to dangerous people and he needs the book back, launching futile assaults that get several officers shot and killed, along with Dale, after Dante crashes a school bus through the front door of the motel. Sharon then starts a fire, which quickly spreads throughout the motel's entrance, before Sharon, Tyler, and Jay flee with Vince as their hostage, while Michelle, Zoe, Jim, Joyce, and Paul escape the motel to safety. The Holts drive into the forest to hide, where Jay releases Vince, before they return to the road and are involved in a car crash, forcing Sharon and Tyler to flee as the authorities, which now include the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, approach, leaving the unconscious Jay behind. Jay awakens and escapes, wandering through the woods before eventually passing out from his injuries near the house of a young woman named Vanessa, who finds him and treats his wounds. The pair bond before Jay leaves, eventually reuniting with Sharon and Tyler in Bear's woodland cabin. Jay learns that Tyler intends to flee south to Mexico with Sharon, leaving him behind, as there's only 2 seats on Bear's motorcycle, and that Jay is not Sharon's biological son, but was adopted by her after being born to her sister, Brooke, who died during childbirth. Jay decides to flee north to Canada alone, and after escaping a violent confrontation with Tyler, who's worried that Jay will get caught and reveal their Mexico plan, travels to Salt Lake City, Utah, where he calls Vanessa for help, explaining that he's running away from family problems. Struggling with her own overbearing father and still mourning the loss of her brother, Vanessa decides to run away together with Jay while helping him. They stop at the house party of Vanessa's old friend in Idaho Falls, Idaho, seeking help with fake IDs, but are unsuccessful in obtaining them. After leaving, Jay tells Vanessa the full truth about the events of the motel, revealing to her that he's a fugitive, which she accepts, still choosing to stay with him while escaping to Canada, and the two become lovers. The duo then escape the pursuing FBI forces through Glacier National Park in Montana, jumping off a high cliff into the water below, where they're presumed dead. Sharon's separated from Tyler when their motorcycle gets a flat tire while being pursued by the authorities, and she goes to Paul's home, who, in addition to being the motel's handyman, is also an old friend and Dante's cousin. There, Sharon convinces Paul to run away with her, escaping the country, emptying Dante's offshore account using the information in the Black Book, and living off the money together. 14 years later, in 2012, Zoe is still suffering from nightmares and anxiety caused by her experience in the motel, especially after she's been receiving letters from Jay, asking for her to write him back. She speaks with Jim, who revealed to Vince previously that he lied about his tumor in an attempt to be closer to his estranged family. Jim now struggles with memory loss from Alzheimer's and encourages Zoe to confront her own memories in order to face her fears. Zoe tracks Jay down from the postmark on his letters, first heading to his local post office, which directs her to his location, finding that he's living at a secluded cabin in the Canadian wilderness. He explains that Vanessa also survived, and although they spent several years together, she eventually grew tired of living in hiding and moved to California alone. After discussing the shared event of the motel and its profound effect on their lives, Zoe decides to forgive Jay and leaves him to his isolated life, finally coming to terms with the past and putting it behind her. Meanwhile, Vince has obtained his dream of becoming a flight instructor, opening his own flying school after refusing the settlement and instead suing the airline who fired him for wrongful termination, while still being married to Michelle, after working through their issues together. Tyler remains a fugitive, working an intense manual labor job on an oil platform in the ocean, while Sharon and Paul are living together on a foreign tropical beach, and Bear, who recovered, visits and places flowers on Dale's grave. While returning from visiting Jay aboard a bus, Zoe receives a voicemail from Jim, revealing that he has a secret past in Two Rock that he never told anyone about, prompting her to decide to visit him. As she approaches his apartment door, Zoe overhears Jim inside, arguing with a hooded stalker about Two Rock, and after a gunshot, the stalker escapes, running past her, before she enters Jim's apartment, discovering his fate.